Hello, it's Andy from Keyword Insights, and in this video we'll be showing you how to use our AI writing assistant. Let's jump right in. Once you've logged into the app, you'll find the writing assistant over here in the left toolbar, and you can also find it via our recommended workflow here. Just a quick reminder on what that workflow is. We really have designed Keyword Insights to be your full content marketing platform. So right from finding all your keyword ideas in our keyword discovery module, to grouping them and clustering them using our clustering module, and then pushing those clusters directly into our writing modules, which we've got two. One is to create content briefs, and one is to actually write the content for you using our AI helper. These two modules are intimately linked, and you don't have to use the content briefs to use the writing assistant, and you don't have to use the writing assistant to use the content briefs. You can use just one or the other, or you can use both, just depending on your preferences for the UI and your workflow. We will touch on that on this video. We'll touch on the relationship between the content briefs and the writing assistant, but really we'll be focusing largely on the writing assistant because there are separate videos on how to use the content brief. So let's jump straight into the writing assistant. As I said, it is intimately linked to the content brief. So if you have created a brief, you can easily create a writing assistant from that brief. You just click here and choose the brief that you might have already created. If you haven't created a brief and you want to go straight into writing content, by all means, hit new content and type in the query that you're after. The article name is that it's the search query you're trying to rank for. So let's just do benefits of cod liver oil for the sake of this video, and you choose your location and you choose your language, and then we hit create. After a few minutes, Keyword Insights will have finished pulling information from competitors, search engines, and other user-generated sites, and you'll be presented with this screen. So you can see the keyword we're trying to target here, benefits of cod oil. We've got our country, our language, and we've got these three tabs. So here is your editor. So this is like any editor you would expect. You can type in it and you can make things bold, you can paragraph, you can add images, you can basically do everything you'd expect in your go-to editor. You can also change the headings, the heading tags, and the actual formatting of the text from H1s, H2s, etc., etc. You've also got your metadata here. You can use our AI to auto-generate, and we'll base it on the keyword and the search results to come up with something that at least is fairly decent. Obviously, you might want to do your own tweaking to it as well. Once you've generated your page title, we'll automatically make it your H1, but of course you can feel free to choose that. Change that, sorry. Over here, you've got, as I've said, you've got three tabs. You've got your research tab, your write tab, and your optimize tab. Now the research tab is where we have gone through and basically pulled all the headings from the top ranking pieces of content for that query. So Healthline ranked number 1, BBC Good Food ranked number 2, WebMD ranks number 3, etc., etc. And you can see all the headings here as well. So you can view all the top headings they've used. And your goal here is obviously to create an article that is better than everyone else's. So you can, from here, just add your headings straight to our editor over here. Or you can click these buttons here and it'll add it to our outliner. So this is our outliner here. I have been making one earlier, which is why you have all the headings in here. But whatever I add here in these checkpoints just adds them to this outliner. If I don't want to add it straight to here and I want to be moving things around maybe a bit easier, you might find it easier to work in your outliner. Also, and this is where the content briefing module and the writing assistant are intimately linked. If you prefer to, so as you'll see in this sort of format here, there's the top 20 results are in one single pane going downwards. And when you expand them, you can only really see, single panes. If you prefer to see this in prefer to see more results more easily, if you hit this show outline, and you click on open, it will open the content briefing module. So it'll open the same project, but within the content briefing module, which just gives you a different UI if you prefer. So if I click open, and you'll just see, if you're familiar with using this, you get the same view as you did in the writing assistant, but you just see them all side by side now, which is just a lot easier if you wanted to work this way. Again, there is videos on how to use the content brief, so I'm not going to go into much detail here. It's just if you prefer this view where you can see them side by side and more results, then you can use this one. And as I said, whatever you change here will automatically update back in your outliner here. So all this toggle is doing essentially is showing you a little frame into what is your brief over here. The other thing you can do is, if you don't want to use the briefing module and you don't want to start by doing all your research, you can actually click on auto generate outline, and we'll analyze all of these headings for you, sprinkle in a bit of AI and come up with an outline for you. It's a very basic outline, so you'll still probably want to do research to add to it, but it just gets you going. So if I click auto generate outline, we'll go away and start analyzing those results for you and pulling that in to your outliner, which you can just replace everything that's already in your editor. So that took about 15 seconds, and it's come up with a pretty comprehensive outline, and I'm just going to replace all of that within my editor here. So very quickly you can see I've got an outline done for my article on benefits of cod oil. Now I might be scanning down here and wanting to add to it, so I can still view all of the results, but I can also add questions from Reddit, from Quora, and from people also ask, just to make sure that I'm really covering this topic in a lot of detail. That's the research tab. It really helps you research and outline a piece of content. The next part is the writing tab, and of course this is where our AI really helps just to create this article quickly. So I'm going to start with an introduction. I am going to delete all of that because I don't actually need that, and I can highlight this and click introduction, and we'll go away and create an introduction for you. What we've done here is given you some what we think you'll use most often, some prompts that you can use. So of course I don't like that beginning bit here, so I'll delete that. But there's a nice little introduction for me on this article, and then if I wanted to just speak about the health benefits of cod liver oil, I could type that in there, cod liver oil, and I could start building these out, or I can highlight this and ask it to generate an answer. And we've given you different tones of voices, so I can add that. Basically you can highlight text here, and there are some prompts here you might use a lot. So this rephrase one is quite a handy one, because let's say for example in your research phase you're just copying loads of headings like this. Oh sorry, I'll add it here. You might just want to rephrase it so it looks slightly different to what the original does. So they might not work on that one because it's too short with no context, but it will rephrase it for you so that your content can look different to your competitors. And then we always have the other one, the main one we have is paragraph answer, where we'll generate an answer for you based on whatever it is you've highlighted. You don't have to use this little bar here. You can also use these here, and you don't even have to highlight text. You could just click bullet point answers and give it a thing, give it some sort of prompt. So let's say explain benefits of cod liver oil to old people, for old people. Like if you just wanted to write some bullet points specific to anything, you can use that. So paragraph compression is one you'll use a lot, because if you're using AI to quickly generate content, sometimes it will write something really long-winded and you might just want it to be shorter. So definitely highlight it all and click paragraph compression, and we'll go away and write a shorter version of it for you. This one's already pretty short, so it may not make it much shorter. That's probably knocked about 2 sentences off. So that's a useful one as well. Where there isn't a solution here that you want, you can always use our AI chat assistant. So if there's something here that you needed but it wasn't there, you can always ask our AI chat assistant, please expand on this, and you can paste like a paragraph in here or something, and our AI chat assistant will go and write that for you. You could even get the AI chat assistant to write the whole article. I could say, paste in my brief and say, please thoroughly expand on this article, and it will write it for me. Probably won't be as good as a human will do it. So here we go, look, it's expanded on that, which is great. So use our AI chat assistant to add anything else that you'd want, and you can always just add these straight into your brief like that. So this is the writing tab, basically helping you to use AI to write this article really quickly for you. Finally is our optimize tab, and this is where we're trying to analyze the search results and give you tips on how to improve it for SEO. So the first thing we do is we're very big on the fact that we don't want you to just generate an AI written article completely. We're happy for it, but we don't want you to fall foul of maybe generating spam content. So we've got our own AI content detector, which will be analyzing the content you write and showing you the ones that look too AI written. And so you can go away and either rewrite that or use that little feature I showed you earlier where you can rephrase and maybe just turn the temperature up a bit, which increases the randomness. So you can do that. If it is only 11%, I wouldn't worry too much about it. To be honest, what you should be aiming for, or if it's anything less than, I'd say 50-60%, don't worry about it. We also show you the topics, which we've analyzed the top results and pulled out some important topics. And we're basically saying if you want to get your grade up, you should use this term at least this many times based on 16 sources, or this term this many times. So if I wanted to increase my fish oil, I could click it straight to here, or I could type it and it would pick up on that eventually. Please allow it a few minutes to load and actually scan through all the content, and then you'll see it goes green. We also look at the most common headings and make sure that you've got those headings there. So where you see a little green dot, it means we have a heading or something that's similar, but we definitely want a whole heading on nutritional benefits of cod liver oil. We want a heading about, so these are basically common, it looks like benefits, and they've been tagged up in heading tags on all our competitors' sites. So we probably want to recreate that because heading tags obviously give more weighting to search engines, so we should put them in heading tags as well, and we can add them. Of course, you want to get your word count up to the recommended amount. Your keywords you want to use in the page title, the meta description, use it in the first 100 words. And basically everything you're trying to do is to get this grade to probably an A or a B. And once you've done that, you can be sure that your content is well researched, it includes all the main elements, and it's going to stand a good chance of ranking for you. Finally, you can add any images in, back in the research tab, back here. There's a nice one of me. And then when you export this, we will send you a zip file with all the images separate so you can easily upload them. The only final feature I want to show you, which I love, is as you're writing and you decide, hey, there's an article here that I should be building out and internally linked to. So let's say I want to talk about exceptional health promoting properties. Let's say that could be an article on its own that I want to write after this one and internally link to it. I can just create a new article and send to the writing assistant. So as I'm writing this one, the next one is already being queued up for me, just so I can go straight into generating that one, and then I can publish them and interlink them. So really good for my internal linking. And that is how to use the writing assistant. Hopefully it's clear what the relationship between that and the content brief is. As I said, you can use one or the other or both. They're intimately linked, and it's just really a case of whether you prefer this UI in this panel or whether you prefer it seeing it side by side. And so that is our writing assistant. Of course, you can also paste existing articles that you might have on your site into the assistant and use the optimize tab to make it better, and then use the AI features along with the writing and research features just to generally enhance old content that could do with a refresh. That is the writing assistant. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If you have any feedback, we are always open to it. Thank you very much.